We are going to show you in less than 5 or 10 minutes how to take your dog. I don't care how bad it pulls. I don't care how old it is or what breed it is. We are going to fix your walk once and for all. Your dog will go from pulling you like a freight train to loose leash walking. I guarantee it. Stay tuned for this episode. You can actually hear his nails scratching. That's how hard he's digging. I'm looping my hand like this. Just to have a better grip. That's how hard he's pulling. So again, we're currently hooked up to a leather martingale collar. You see, I have to kind of bend my knees and actually lean back to handle that. It's ridiculous. Because we have a couple dogs coming up, and I think we've showcased it enough. The dog pulls. We're going to go ahead and switch to a 3mm prong collar. This is not going to solve the problem, but it should alleviate some of it. Again, this is just the tool, no technique, unless I really have to put something on. All right, we're now hooked to the prong. Lady with her dog just went off screen there, which is fine with me, but all that odor is going to be here. Plus, we got another. Can't play in this stuff, folks. This is great. Some off-leash dog there. All right, so this has taken the pulling from probably like a 8. I'm a solid 8 to, I'm gonna let feel for that. Still pulling, but it's definitely cut it at least in half. Let's call it a 4. But the dog's not paying attention to me, not looking at me. He's not engaged. I for sure have more control, but the point of this conversation is just to show you that just putting a prong collar on isn't going to stop the dog from pulling, and it's not going to get him loose leash walking or next to you in a heel position. It can just take a little bit of the bite off. Better than nothing. But stay tuned and we'll show you actually how we use the tool in combination with the technique to fix it. All right, this is a pre-step. If you have the time to do it, if you have a dog that's superfood motivated, by all means try it. In his case, this is not a superfood motivated dog, but to help him as best we can, we fasted him for 24 hours and just gave him a supplement that makes him extra hungry. It should anyways, that's the design of it. So let's check this out. What we're gonna do is prep him for the correction that will be coming. The prep is, if you feel that tap, come to me. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's about a half on this. I'm not pulling him, I'm tapping him. If I could show that now, the line has to be loose, and I'm gonna give a little pop. All right, so in this next step, we are now going to correct him for not paying attention. And I cannot stress this enough, it must be a correction with direction. I'm going to start with what you don't do. Dog's out pulling and you just blast him on the prong collar as you're continuing in a forward momentum. He's going to feel this. Ow! Turn to see what caused it and see you looking at him still walking this way. No communication delivered. It just hurt and he doesn't know why it hurt. He doesn't know what caused that. So instead, this is the secret sauce, folks. Get your pen and paper out right now and write this down. This is going to save all your troubles right here. We're going to give him the correction. He's going to feel a pop. He's going to turn to see what caused it, and he needs to see your butt walking that way. All right? Not looking at him, literally walking away from him. And so to put it in perspective, all we're teaching him is that you are the tugboat captain and he is a life raft. He's got to go where the tugboat goes. He has to pay attention. If not, the life raft is going to get popped. Okay? That's all it is. His new job now, while we're out here walking, is to pay attention to the tugboat captain. That's it. No words, no talking. I'm not mad at him. If he stays next to me, mind you, I will pay him for being in a beautiful position. However, I already know this dog. He's not going to hang out next to me much. He's going to be way out there. But watch. Within 2 or 3 corrections, you're going to see him going from 5 or 6 feet out in front to possibly even behind me. Why is he going to be behind me? Because he wants to pay attention to where this tugboat's going. That's all we're teaching him. So let me show you how this is done. That's one correction. Oh, I'm happy that happened. I went to do it. He peeked me out of the corner of his eye, and I didn't do the maneuver. I cannot stress this enough. You do not correct your dog for looking at you. That's the whole point of what we're trying to accomplish, is to get the dog to pay attention to you. So we have to be very clear on this. Let me show you my eyes. If the dog is locked on something other than you, by all means, we deliver the correction. If you, by maybe having what we call loud footwork or doing something with the leash in preparation of you turning, if your dog hears that, sees you fumbling and turns to see what you're doing, that's not the time to correct. Don't do that. You do what I did and go, oh, I'm just playing, bud. No, I'm playing. Or you say, hey, thanks for looking at me. Here's a piece of food. Hugely important. Never correct your dog while they're looking at you. You have to wait until they're pretty much fully locked on to anything other than you. So we'll keep playing this game, and we'll get maybe 1 or 2 more corrections in, and then we'll show you what the next step's all about. But this is the biggest step. Once you master this, it's going to fix 90% of the problem. The rest is just a little bit of cleanup work to tighten them up.
Craving the perfect lasagna? Skip the recipe. Food and more delivered.
It's absolutely normal for the dog to give a little yelp. He's very sensitive, meaning what we call a very vocal dog. Look at the engagement. This is what we call a cheater's heel. Did I fix it? No. But look who's paying attention to me. Now my job, if I wasn't talking so much, is to capture those moments when he looks at me. I can even help him. And pay him, because he's in the sweet spot. He's in this little beautiful imaginary circle of love. And he's looking at me. That's what I want. What I don't want is him to be way out pulling. That's correction 2. See how he caught that one? And that's what we call a reward U-turn. He turned with me. He paid attention that I turned, he turned. The reward in and of itself is he did not get a correction. Now, if he came and caught up next to me, I would have paid him on top of that. It pays to pay attention. We can also sneak these in when the dog is not moving. This dog has a very big problem of paying attention to anyone. It's got doggy ADD. Oh, good boy, buddy. And here's right here, bud. Tail still wagging. Yeah, we're being a little hard on him, but I'm honestly introducing this as mildly as I can. And again, we preface this with what the pressure means and how to turn it off. When you feel this, it's good to come to me. Beautiful. All right, we'll keep walking. And now I feel like I've done enough work to where you can see the difference now. 3 corrections. Let's see if he sees me turn. Ah, it's not beautiful, but what a difference. Look where he's walking. Look who's paying attention to me. That if I turn, he sees me turn. This is the secret sauce, folks. That's it. 3 corrections, and our work here is all but done. Now in the next session, or excuse me, in the next clip, I'm going to show you how we tighten it up just a little bit more to get a little more engagement from him. All right, so the next step to clean it up, to get your dog going from, let's call it 50% paying attention to me, 50% watching the outside world, how I'm going to clean it up and make it 80% me, 20% outside world, is what we call the sudden stop. The sudden stop is beautiful. What the sudden stop is if we're walking, it's the same concept of if you don't see me turn and I turn without you paying attention, you'll correct yourself basically. Except this time I'm going to stop. And if you don't stop when I stop and you continue going forward, you're going to self-correct. Again, it's not personal. I'm not mad at you. And let me put it in this perspective. If I tied him to a tree and he ran out this way and he corrected himself because the line got tight and he popped himself, is he going to be mad at the tree? No. So he's not going to be mad at you. He's going to look back to see what caused it and realize, oh man, the guy holding the leash stopped. That's all this game is. So I'm going to simulate what needs to be done. As you're walking, hopefully you can see this line right here in the middle of the road. I'm basically just pick a spot and I'm going to very quietly stop on it. If he passes the line, meaning passes the front of my toes, it's a stop followed by a pop. The pop should look as if you're holding a hammer and you're nailing something in this area. Pop. Again, the line must be loose when you go to pop it. I'm not pulling him back, I am popping it. So what happens to the dog is he's doing his thing, he's target locking on another dog, cat, squirrel, you name it. He's going to feel, ow, what was that? Look up and see that you have stopped. That's all it is. That is the picture we're trying to present to the dog. When I stop, you must stop. So he's going to develop a theory. His theory is going to be, man, I got to pay attention to the guy holding the leash. He's crazy. He suddenly turns, he suddenly stops, and it's in my best interest to pay attention to him to avoid anything unpleasant. Now, the counterbalance to that is, if you stop when I stop and you nail that, I'm hooking you up with food. High value treats, high value rewards. So having said it now, let's watch it happen. Already within just 3 U-turn corrections, what a world of difference. Now let's see if he nails the sudden stop. I don't think he'll do it. That was a pretty stiff one. We would call that an overcorrection. But watch the difference. Watch the difference. On a scale of 1 to 10, he probably got a 3. Beautiful timing. My execution was, I'm very happy with it, other than it was, man, if that was a 3, maybe he could have done a 2. Maybe could have done a 2. But you know what? It didn't kill him. And now, let's see, when I do the same, keep it rolling, I'm going to stop in the same spot. What are the chances he sees me stop? Let's see. Now, if he sees it, he's going to get paid. If he misses it again, that's on him. It's nothing personal. I'm not mad at him. Oh! And we mark and we pay. Perfect. All right, so the third and final phase is just a little bit of what we call maintenance or reminder pops. And that is that in roughly 10 minutes, your dog's already walking beautiful, loose leash. And this is in case your dog gets maybe their interest piqued on that duck, that squirrel, that cat, that other dog, and you see their ears target lock. If they target lock, and I'm kind of waiting for him to target lock on something, but if he does, I can give just the slightest little tap in a backwards motion or upwards motion and let him know, don't look at that. Remember, you have a job to do, and that's to pay attention to me. I'll show you what one looks like. This is a very mild one because he's not really super target locked on anything. Oh, almost had an opportunity there. He's wind scenting something. His motor's up a little. Perfect time's going to come right now. Good job. And I'll pay him for that. Yes, he's a little on edge. He's a little stressed, but if you knew the history of this dog, you would know why. This dog is super, super leash reactive and fear aggression through the roof, but that's a topic for another story. But I guess I would say that the point is, if I can do it with this dog, you can for sure do it with your dog at home. This is a little bonus for y'all. I don't recommend you go out and teach this in the most crowded, distraction-ridden area. I want you to teach this on a quiet street. And once you've mastered that, then you see we actually switch sides. This might be a reminder pop when he look, oh, that's good. Don't look at the dog, look at me. That's your job, to look at me. Very hard to be leash reactive to want to lunge, bark, attack, hackles up, all of that. When you can't even look at the thing that's concerning you. You gotta look at me. That's it. I should have started with this, and this technique isn't just for teaching dogs to stop pulling. It will absolutely fix your leash reactivity issues. Point blank, period. Very hard to target lock and react to something that you're not even allowed to pay attention to. You can't pay attention to it because you're too busy paying attention to me. Aha. So every once in a while, we need to sneak in a sudden stop, a corrective U-turn, a reminder pop to keep your dog on point. If you do this for roughly 3 walks, the night and day difference, and just stay on top of them, the next thing you know, you'll do an entire walk and you won't have to do any of the above. It'll be nothing but paying the dog for being in position like we're about to do right now. Good boy. All right, now, exactly 20 minutes ago, I could barely walk this dog. And now, how old are you, my love? 5. Now my 5-year-old can walk him. Is it perfect? No, but you can imagine if we wash, rinse, repeat this dog will be perfect on the walk, no matter who's walking him. Go ahead and pull him off of that. Right? The power of the prong collar allows her to be able to pull him off of that. I don't know what else there is to say, folks. Try it at home. If you take out all the blah, blah, blah of me talking, you can actually fix your dog's walk in 5 minutes or less. I call it 15 minutes because it takes a little minute to explain. What else there needs to be said? See you on the next video.